Hi, this is Renee and Kent Miller, and we are here 2020, starting out
A new year.
with predictions. We haven't done predictions in a while.
No.
We've been actually pretty quiet. We've been putting together some books, and actually The Acquiescence of Humanity came out in September.
Yeah, but that's a good book. It's a good read.
It is. It's very interesting. I'm rereading it,
She's rereading it, find it interesting. And she's read it how many times? So you'll find it interesting.
It's available on Amazon. And then we are also redoing the first book, The Augmentation of Man, A Study in Renaissance, to mirror the way that we've done the second book, which is an expansion of our interpretations, an expansion of the glossary.
To give you a head start.
Yeah, to help people to understand it. That's more of a spiritually driven, although it does have predictions for Earth and human human changes in chapter 12.
Right. So
but today, we're going to talk mostly about earthquake and volcanic activity. And it happens to correlate with the sudden increase of both earthquake and volcanic activity around the world right now.
And most of this is what I got several years back, and then we'll update it what I got in 2018.
Yeah, so we'll start with June and July of 2008, and then at the very end, it's going to jump to January 2018. And so what we're going to do is head over to a PowerPoint right now. And so
2008, remember what we're going to tell you.
Yeah, this is starting June of 2008.
Yeah. Some of this relates to 2008, and some of it may relate to what's going on right now. We're not absolutely sure, but you can use your own determination. And
so we were being warned in June
2008
that September the lion will be slain. And this is a metaphor.
Yes.
And for some reason, I think we had an inclination at that time that it was going to be the economy.
Yeah. And I saw the lion dragging a prey across the prairie. And the prey was struggling to eventually die.
And so that was in reference to the economy. And so, and as we know, the market took a huge hit September 2008, largely due to
October,
September. Well, it hit
in September.
Right. And it was largely due to the housing market and poor practices for loaning.
So with that, we got the lion will be slain.
Okay, so then the second one is eternal gratitude by many. There we go. So everybody else can see it.
So it says,
eternal gratitude.
Hear ye all rise to the encumbrances to take place. And I heard it's like somebody is in court.
Kind of like a gesture.
Well, no, it's almost like it's going to the Senate now, and it's actually going to court in the Senate. So I don't know if it refers to right now. So we are looking at this and saying, well, does this refer to back then, or does this refer to right now? Because on predictions, you don't know when.
That is true. However, this was all received.
This was received then. But.
And, we had verification of the stock market hit at that time. So there's a serration of understanding that they're talking about here. And it might be caused by this triangular distribution that's being put out by an astrological disturbance in the belt. And they didn't
we're not
specify.
Sure which belt.
Right.
This is.
It is causing a quantum vibrational effect, and the time is right for disruptive forces. And again, it may all go back to this hit in the economy at that time.
Yeah, and then I saw the stock market between saw between 10,400 and 10,500.
Yeah, and that's actually the first drop that it made. Of course, it went lower than that.
Yeah.
But the first drop was significant drop, fell between this range here. So now we're going to move on to atmospheric disturbance.
I saw this comet coming in, and it went across the atmospheric surface of the Earth, like skipping a stone across a lake. And when it did that, it had profound effects upon the different things that exist on the Earth.
Well, and the first thing that comes to my mind is, because it's talking about a lot of, it's going to affect a lot of things, it brings to mind our satellites, cell phone service,
it'll definitely affect that.
All of that, all those thousands of satellites out in our orbit. If you have a comet or meteor or whatever coming in and skimming the surface of our atmosphere, it may very well take out some of those satellites.
And so that's going to be a big item, a big event that we have to watch.
Yeah, and prepare for it. And, you know, these predictions are not meant to instill fear, but to be able to take that information and turn it into preparation so that you can ride out these occurrences.
So, the next one we saw, it says, a star is born, a sign of coming malignancy. We are not sure what this means. We were discussing it and different things, and we're not totally understanding what they're meaning here.
And it goes on to say causation of misunderstanding is withheld. So they're saying, they use the word causation instead of cause. So the cause of the misunderstanding is being held back for some reason. And so is this a sign of a coming malignancy related to some sort of misunderstanding?
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Is it an actual star, or is that a metaphor for perhaps a person?
No, I don't think it's a person. It has to do with the outside of Earth.
Atmosphere, something going on in the atmosphere, so very possibly then a star. So then we're going to move on to what we began with today, is that the earthquakes and volcanic activities was predicted
huge
to
amounts
rise.
of volcanic activity beginning to increase dramatically, and that's what's happening right now. We found out
it is, and so today we actually sat down to meditate and ask, why is this sudden increase in volcanic and earthquake activity? What is causing it? And the only answer that we could get is that there is an inner core expansion that is occurring, and it's causing a pressure variance, and that is causing more lava activity,
the surface,
more surface activity with the earthquakes, and then of course volcanic activity. But what we don't know is what is causing this expansion of the Earth's core.
So, and with this, I saw a huge earthquake in the North San Francisco area. And I saw buildings, things falling, etc. A lot like what happened in, was it 1990 or 1989?
The big quake.
The so-called big quake in San Francisco. It was going to be bigger. And it's actually going to set up a big quake for the Los Angeles area.
So one is triggering the other.
Yeah.
So big earthquake in San Francisco is setting the stage for a big earthquake in LA. And we know that that fault line that goes along the California coast is kind of locked up, and they've been expecting the big one for a long time.
So this is going to happen north of San Francisco, which is going to, it's like a domino effect, which is going to take place.
And so we are reminded that the surface temperature will rise. And so we'll move on. This one, we're jumping forward with this frame to January 2018 as we were putting together this PowerPoint. We came across this one, and it's just a reminder, I think, that times are getting close. And so this was 2 years ago. And they're talking about, you know, our being able to sustain ourselves, food and water, seeds, those sort of things.
Which you've heard us talk about before several times.
Right.
To try to do this.
And again, it's not to create fear, it's to take that information and say, okay, if I know this is a possibility, what can I do to help me sustain through more difficult times? We know that the earth has not been as predictable as it has in the last 100 years. And prior, you know, years prior, it was a very changeable planet. And, you know, most likely we're going to see that. And, you know, we're being told that the earth needs to rebalance herself. So in doing so, you're going to see a lot of shifting, a lot of movement with that volcanic activity and water displacement.
Gust of wind. It's going to cause a gust of wind to prevail over humanity. Fictitious. It will be.
So
what do they mean by, what do you think they mean by fictitious?
To me, it brings to mind being fruitful. And oftentimes our guides refer to the wind carrying messages. Mm-hmm. So you've got this breeze or this wind that brings this vibrational force with it, that delivers this message to you. And that will cause you to be fruitful because it's going to deliver a message, and perhaps people will take that message and do something with it.
Food will become scarce. So people will have, you can't go to the grocery store and buy food. You're going to have to learn how to start growing food on your own. And the world will prevail. A new world will be made. A new history will be made. This is all good things. Man will set themselves up to be more intelligent, more cautious, more relevant to Mother Earth.
And more relevant to the universal consciousness.
Yeah.
That's really what the whole crux of this is about.
Yeah. And so, even though I've seen devastation just about everywhere, especially in the big cities, a lot of devastation, such as Vegas being wiped out and Dallas having massive quakes. These are places that are known.
Dallas, not so much.
No, Dallas has small quakes.
It has had quakes in the past, but to our knowledge, has not had a big quake.
Yeah, so
they're saying a big quake.
Yeah, these big cities. So
they also talk about the Ganges River will change its direction, meaning flowing backwards.
Yeah, that's much like the Mississippi did.
Right, and that was a big earthquake back then, right? And so they're saying that the Ganges River is not the holy river that they pretend it to be now. You know, again, man has his order in
lives in the
order.
Past.
And we've been told there really is nothing that is sacred on the earth. The only thing that's sacred is the vortex that exists between God the Creator and the ancients for direct communication purposes from God.
So the whole world is changing as we know it. And it's changing for the better. For those of you that think, oh my goodness, no, don't get upset or worried. The whole world will change for the better of humanity. Because we'll have a new start, new parameter, a new horizon.
And so take this information and use it to your benefit. get some seeds. We recommend non-hybrid seeds. We've been told they will be worth more than gold in the future.
Yeah. And we're not preppers. We don't do this underground prepping and all these different things. We just know where to get water. We get devices to
sterilize water.
We have seeds.
So the object is not to instill fear, not to go out and buy everything that you could possibly imagine to carry you through the next few years, but to be more middle of the road about it. Make sure that you have the things that you need to survive. So food, clothing, seeds. You can't stock up on enough food. We're being told to prepare to ride out about 3 years of self-sustaining. So you need something that you are going to be able to generate your own food source.
And with those that can do that, they'll survive with this new change and the new parameters and see the sun coming up on the other side.
So we're being reassured. This is the positive change. And we are moving into a new cycle of conceptual learning. It's a higher learning. It is pushing humanity up a notch in vibration related to levels of understanding. So this whole new cycle has to start out where everything is back in balance. Our understanding is in balance. That's why you see the truth is coming out now, little at a time. The earth isn't back in balance. The universe is back in balance. And we've been told that the planets will shift in their orbits to reinstate balance, because over thousands or billions of years, they get out of balance too.
They have to be brought back to the balance period.
And the Earth's axis will change. That will bring balance back to the Earth's wobble. And so what do you have when that happens? You have shifting of ocean waters. So we just have to roll with the tide of the changes. We have to understand that, moving away from coastal areas is very important. Having seeds, a way of getting clean water is very important.
And read. We encourage you not to just read our book, which is very good on this information. And a lot of it's been confirmed, even by science. But read. Other authors also have good information, which we haven't read, because I don't want to dilute what I get. But if you read the different authors and understand what they're trying to say, you'll be fine with this change.
And we are being reassured that in the future, that there's going to be miraculous things that will come about in our world.
Yeah, new items will be reinvented, will be invented that are just fantastic.
Medical advances. And
I saw some of them, and they are fantastic from what we have right now, even though many things have been invented which we don't know about, but it's going to be even bigger.
Yeah, it'll be quite extraordinary. So we have plenty to look forward to, and that is what we want to finish with, is this a sense of a much more positive future, a much better future than we have.
Trust in your gut feelings. Trust in who you are.
So we want to thank you for joining us today, and as always,
keep a smile.
Peace be with you on your journey to enlightenment. And do visit our podcast. We have a new podcast that's at anchor.fm. You can also get it on Spreaker and Breaker and iTunes, most of your major channels. But if you want to subscribe, go to anchor.fm/the augmentation of man. And we try to look at the bigger picture and kind of connect the dots with that. It's kind of fun.
Humanity.
So
anyway, have a
thank
great
you
day.
for joining us. Take care now. Bye-bye.